Hi, I'm Pete, one of the veterinary sales specialists at Probo. Today we'll be talking about the Mindray VetiX systems, which are Mindray's high-power, fully integrated digital radiography solutions. The specific model I have here is the Mindray VetiX S380. The VetiX systems make your life easier with their intelligent workflow. You manage both the DR plate and the generator settings from the same software, giving a seamless workflow. You no longer have to refer to a chart on the wall and manually enter the settings on the generator itself. Simply choose the view, set the patient thickness, and the exposures are set for you. The VetiX S380 takes this a step further with a laser collimator to automatically measure the patient thickness, so all you need to do is confirm and take your X-ray. On the VetiX S380, we also have a separate screen mounted to the column that allows you to control the generator and check the positioning on radiographs you've just taken without needing to move to the main workstation. The 1.5 metre floating top table can be extended to 1.8 or 2.1 metres with the optional removable table extensions. This gives you the flexibility to increase the table length for larger patients or better utilise the room space as your workload demands. The table also includes a generous number of rope clamps to make life easier regardless of the view you are taking. The table is held in place by an electromagnetic brake with a separate foot switch that you can position wherever is convenient. This can help prevent accidental operator release that can happen on more traditional floating top tables that have the foot switch mounted to the front of the unit where the operator is typically working to position the patient. The Mindray VetiX is a high-power 32 kilowatt system that only requires single-phase power. It has an output of up to 125 kV and 500 mA. This makes it not only ideal for larger dogs, but it is also able to deliver an equivalent radiation dose over a shorter time period when compared to lower power portable style generators. This can help give sharper images due to reduced motion blur. The system features a rotating anode rather than a static anode, as typically found in portable style generators. This allows it to achieve a higher output through better heat dissipation and also gives a longer expected lifespan for the tube, as there is less wear on one particular point of the anode. The tube on the VetiX is rated for 100,000 exposures, which is the equivalent of 13 to 14 exposures every single day for 20 years. The 17 by 17 inch DR panel is housed safely under the floating top table. It uses a high quality cesium iodide scintillator, also known as CSI, which is generally considered superior to the alternative gadolinium oxysulfide or GADOX scintillator, as it is possible to achieve an improved signal to noise ratio and better spatial resolution at a lower X-ray dose. The system also includes a series of reference images to help aid positioning and as a teaching tool when training new members of staff. To turn the system on, we just need to press the power button found underneath the floating top table at the front. Press this once and it turns on the entire system, so both the generator, the DR plate and the computer are all turned on with the single power button at the front of the system. If your system doesn't turn on, make sure that you have turned on the power to your X-ray room and released any emergency stop switches if they've been accidentally pressed. There is also an emergency stop switch located on the system itself, just below the side under the floating top table. To collimate your image, you have a button in the middle of the collimator here to turn the light on, and these two dials control your horizontal and vertical collimation. To release the floating top table, simply press the foot pedal to release the electromagnetic brake, move the table to the desired position, and release the foot pedal to re-engage the brake. The floating top table also supports 1 or 2 table extensions. We can add these to the end by simply inserting them into the handles. To take your exposure, use the 2-stage hand trigger. Press halfway to prep the exposure and press and hold the entire way to take the exposure. Release once finished. Once you've turned your X-ray system on, you'll need to log in. The default password is admin for the admin account. Once you've logged in, you'll be taken to the patient registration screen. To set up your patient, simply enter the details in the fields at the upper right. You can hide the on-screen keyboard by clicking the keyboard icon. To start your exam, simply click Start Exam at the lower right of the screen. In an emergency, you do have the option to choose dog emergency or cat emergency. If you know which views you're going to take, you can add them to the study before you begin the exam. Simply click on the relevant part of the diagram and choose the view to add it to the series. To set your exposure settings, you can either manually adjust them using the plus and minus buttons on the different settings, or you can use the centimeter scale here to set the patient thickness. If you have the laser collimator, it will automatically measure the thickness of the patient, and you can click on the blue icon to accept the measurement. The exposures will change automatically based on the thickness set. Before you take your first exposure, ensure that the correct view has been selected. The currently selected view has the name in dark blue. You can click on a different view to select it. The next exposure will be assigned to the selected view. To take your exposure, simply use the hand trigger. When you take your exposure, the icon at the top left of the screen will indicate the status of prepped or exposing. You will also see the lights on the X-ray system itself will change from blue to green and back to blue as you take your exposure. If you need to add any additional views to your series, you can click View Edit to open the View Selection tool and simply click on the relevant piece of anatomy and the view to add it to the series. Once you're done adding views, click Save. If you need to retake an X-ray, simply click on the view again and retake your radiograph. You can also accept or reject views, so you can click the tick on any X-ray, and if you wish to reject the image, you can click the reject button at the bottom of the screen here. Rejected images will not be exported at the end of the study. You may also delete any images that you do not wish to keep. If you need to retake a radiograph, simply select the view again and retake your X-ray. If you wish to reject or delete any radiographs, click the blue circle at the bottom right of the thumbnail, and then you have reject and delete as options at the bottom of the screen. Any rejected images will not be deleted, but they will not be sent or exported at the end of the study. Deleted images will be removed from the study entirely. Once you've taken your radiograph, simply press Save at the bottom right of the screen to save the image as it currently is. If you wish to make any adjustments, you'll find all of your imaging controls on the right-hand side of the screen. By default, left click is your window level, and your mouse wheel is zoom. You can also use the tools on the right here. If you mouse over or cursor over any of the controls, it will give you a description of what they do. Some of the most commonly used tools are going to be your pan tool, so the hand icon, your crop tool, if you need to change the size or crop of the image, and your rotation tools. If you need to add a marker or comment to the image, you'll find different annotation options under the Notes section. For example, I can click the L marker to add an annotation to the screen. I can unclick to remove it. We also have the option to add custom comments to the study or user-defined text. We can click and drag to move the text around the image. Measurement tools will be found under the measurement section. We have some generic measurement tools such as a line and an angle. We also have some specific measurement tools such as a TPLO tool and a vertebral heart score tool. Simply click the relevant tool to activate it. Please see the separate guide for instructions on how to use the measurement tools. It is recommended to calibrate before performing any measurements. You can do this using the ruler icon labelled Geom Verify. Once you're happy that you've performed all customizations and measurements, you can click Save to save the image as it currently is, or you can click Save As to save a new copy with the modifications, leaving the original unaltered. You can also click Cancel to restore the image to how it was prior to your manipulations. Once you're ready to end your exam, simply click the History button. This will finish your exam and take you through to the database of all previous exams. To export images, simply tick the patient or patients that you wish to export and click the Export button at the bottom of the screen. This will give you the option to choose the export location, for example a USB memory stick, name the file, and also choose the file format that will be used when exporting. You can also include a DICOM viewer if you don't have one already. Once you're happy with your chosen settings, click OK to export the images. We also have the option to email images directly from the system if an email account has been set up. Simply click the arrow next to Send to Packs and you'll see email as an option. You can then enter the recipient email address and choose the file format that you wish to send the images in. If you have deleted any images or studies, you will find them in the recycle bin for 30 days after the deletion. Beyond this point, they will no longer be recoverable. Once you've finished taking radiographs and you wish to turn off the system, simply click the three lines at the top left of the screen and then choose Exit System. You'll see three different options. Simply choose Shut Down and this will shut down the computer and the generator and DR plate.